So I don't have footage of what this cup looked like before, but just for the record, this is a Maker Flow doozy. This can be used as a koozie for your slim cans, or it could be used as a regular tumbler with a little screw top lid. And they're super, super cute. So I took my doozy and I base painted it with some Love Triangle. This is a very deep, neutral pink. It's a very mauve kind of color. I like it because it's romantic. It's not very bright. It's not bubbly. It's just neutral. And I think it goes with a lot of the vinyls that I have in my line. So the two prints that I think that would go really well with this shade right here are Busy Bees and Make Me Happy. Both of them I will link down in the description below. I've been wanting to use both prints for a really long time, just haven't had the opportunity. And now that I have the perfect shade, these would go really well. But I'm really going to go ahead and lean towards the Make Me Happy because I'm feeling the whole Happy Meal vibe, the Frappuccino vibes. I like that the detail has like a frothy whipped cream topping here. And so I'm looking at making a drip possibly, maybe some sprinkles. I want to keep it happy. I want to make the drip. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick with the Make Me Happy. The good thing about these doozies is that they don't take a lot of vinyl to wrap. And with the design that I'm going to go for, I'm going to do a split. So that cut in half is probably like 4 inches wide. And I don't even know. I never measure. I just eyeball it. So you can get away with scraps for these guys. That's what makes these doozies so great. Your little scraps that you just don't know what to do with would go really well with these cups because they're so small and it's such a small surface to cover. So don't throw away your scraps. Get yourself some doozies and you can make a whole nother line of cups. These are great for kids. These are great for people who like to drink out of those slim cans to keep their drinks cold. So these doozies come in handy for adults and for kids. So scraps plus the doozy, match made in heaven. And like always, when I wrap a straight, because this is a straight, there is no taper, I really just eyeball it. So I don't really measure much. I just kind of make my little tick marks and then I just trim, and I stick it. There you go. It's that easy. You just peel, stick, squeegee, and it's a perfect fit. There's very little fuss with this guy. These doozies, I can't get over them. So I'm going to wrap it right over this lip right here. And then I'm going to trim off the edge just a tiny bit because I don't want it to pucker when I go to lay my epoxy. The slightest pucker will get your epoxy underneath that vinyl. And of course, my trusty little razor. I have these guys everywhere. I rarely do I use blades or fancy little cutting gadgets. I just use a straight razor blade. All right, so now that we have our vinyl down, it's time to put our glitter. Now, I know what you're thinking. What kind of glitter am I going to put on this? I am going to throw you for a doozy. Oh, I see what I did there. I'm going to throw you for a doozy. I'm going to use some Posh ice. I know that the Posh ice is white and you're thinking, well, it's going to throw off blue. Nay, it's not going to throw off blue. Watch what's going to happen. Let's put down some Eileen's Tack It because I do want to burnish this. I want to make sure that my glitter is not a rough glitter. It's a burnish glitter. Now, the difference between the two is when you burnish your glitter, you put your Tack It down. So you use a Tack It method and then you just rub your glitter on so that the flakes lay flat. When you do the epoxy method, or if you're just doing regular Mod Podge and you just throw your glitter down, let it dry, and then you seal it, that's just the regular glitter. And that's beautiful also. The light just hits the glitter differently, which gives you a different effect. Just recently, I really have been grabbing on to the burnish method because I just feel that one, the epoxy lays better, and two, I love that opal sheen. I like that beautiful reflection. It's just a different kind of effect, and I've just been really gravitating towards that lately. Once you have your Tack It down and you throw your glitter down, you're gonna rub until it's nice and smooth and you can run your finger through the entire area that you just tacked and there's no sticky residue. If that is all good and you have no sticky, then you're ready to seal your glitter. You see what happened here? The glitter did not throw off blue. It picked up a lot of those muted chocolate tones and it made it like a Frappuccino kind of coffee tint. So I'm very happy with this effect. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Now let's move on. I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to put some UV epoxy on this because these guys are so small. I don't really need to do a full epoxy job. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to throw down some UV epoxy to just seal this real quick, and then we can move on to our next step. I'm going to keep it within the rose gold pinkish kind of family, and I'm going to trim off some of my rose gold vinyl here, and I'm going to stripe it along the edges before I give it the final seal. Okay, now is time for the drip. And what I use for my drip, I really like to use Flynn Sisters Fast Cure, okay? I know what you're thinking. Why the Fast Cure? Well, for one, I don't have time to wait. I don't like to wait for my drip to, casually take its time. I like it to hurry up. I know exactly how long it's going to take before it starts to cure, before it starts to thicken up, and I can control that within a 10-minute window. So I put down my Flynn Sisters epoxy. I put about 10 to 15 milliliters. For this one right here, I would probably use about 10 just to get like a basic drip. I'll put down some of my hold up in there, and I'll give it a nice little whip. Get it nice and white, and then I'll set my timer and then give me about a 10-minute window. So that way I know how long I have before I have to come back and check, and I keep stirring, and I can monitor the consistency of how it thickens up with each second that passes. So once the 10 minutes starts to go off, that's when I know that this epoxy is starting to activate. I'm gonna feel some thickening in it, and that's when I'm gonna have to pay pretty close attention and monitor it closely so that way it doesn't flash cure on me. Once I get the desired consistency, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply it all around my rim right there. Take my little napkin and I'm going to clean the edge because I do want to flip this up and down, up and down, up and down, button head, button head, button head, because I want to make sure that I get those tucked under drips. I want this to look like a real drip, a thick drip that's coming over. I don't want it to just run down the cup. So as it's working its magic in curing and thickening, I'm going to be helping it out by flipping it over and standing it straight up, flipping it on its head and putting it back on its butt. So do that a couple times until you know that your epoxy is not going to run anymore. That's when you have the perfect drip. Now you can take your torch to this to pop some of these bubbles, or you can take a little heat gun. But remember, if you put heat to your epoxy, it's going to run. That could also speed up the curing time. It could burn your epoxy. I don't want to take any of those measures. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just say, sprinkle it up. Everywhere there's a bubble, if it looks funny, put a sprinkle, okay? I'm gonna bust out some of my Mystique, and lucky for me, these sprinkles match the vinyl perfectly. I got white and pink and a little bit of lilac color in here. Now, I know what you're thinking, just sprinkle them on there. No, I have to strategically place them on here. And I'm placing these while the epoxy is still tacky. You can put them on there afterwards, but you will have to have an adhesive to put them on. So while it is still curing and I'm still flipping it back and forth, I'll take this time to put my sprinkles on there. I noticed that I needed some orange in here just to kind of make them pop just a little bit more. So I grabbed some orange and some hot pink and I put those on there. And I was really excited because it seemed to match perfectly. Look at that. It was like meant for this cup, these sprinkles. Everything, this glitter, this paint, it was all made for this cup. Look at that. And there you have it, guys. I did leave a little space in case if somebody wanted their name to be put on here. This cup is for sale. I will put it on my site. I will leave all those instructions and details down at the bottom in the description. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Give me a thumbs up. Ask me questions in the comments. I will return next Sunday. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will be seeing you.